A lovely welcome. Good evening, and it's a pleasure to join you once again on Nsaka. We are looking at the marriage formula, and today we are in episode 4, where we are looking at marriage preparations, and in particular, we are looking at statutory marriage as well as weddings. And as usual, we have my co-host, that is Lance Sani Banda. Lance, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, CJ. I'm okay, thanks. And good evening to the viewers as well. How are you today?
I'm doing great. The rains have been pouring the past few days continuously, which is good for farming.
Are you sure it's good, CJ? Crops are getting submerged and houses are getting submerged.
Houses, yes, not crops. Yeah, and as usual, we have our Counsellor, that is Shaabula. Evangelist, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Lance, and good evening to everyone. It's a wonderful day again that will help us go through a lot of these things that we need to know, especially as young people, even as old people, so that we know how to help the young. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Evangelist. Viewers want to remind you that this program is not suitable for people below the age of 18. However, since we're looking at marriage and the preparations, whoever is of age is welcome. We encourage you to invite someone. Please share the link and be free to make comments. You can follow us on Facebook as well as YouTube and Twitter. To get started, we have a clip from Peter Nkandu, who had something to say on marriage preparations. Director, please give us that clip.
Hello, my name is Peter Nkandu. Hello, my name is Peter Nkandu, and I would like also to contribute on the topic of marriage. Okay, first and foremost, is the wedding really necessary? A wedding is a marriage celebration. Okay, I feel it's necessary because you're trying to notify the public that you have decided to get together and be joined as husband and wife. I think it's necessary. Okay, and I think there are 2 occasions that happens on that particular day, actually. So the most important part of the whole event is the one that happens from church, where you are blessed and you are pronounced as husband and wife. You are pronounced as one. Okay, I think that's where the most important of the whole event happens from. The reception, it's a way by thing. Okay, I think depending on the capacity that you have, it's also important that you do a celebration. Okay, although like most people say, a wedding only happens from church and the rest are self-inflicted. I feel it's important because if you check what most of the people that are invited on that event, mostly the relatives are most invited and the close friends. Okay, it's more like you're trying to inform the public, your relatives, and also your friends that this is what you've decided to do. Of course, there are so many advantages and disadvantages. Okay? Advantages of having a wedding is you are doing it the legal way of you joining together as a husband and wife. Okay? You're doing it the legal way, or you're following the right procedure of which is supposed to be done. Okay? What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages, some of them are you get to spend hugely, of course. There are so many things that are needed in terms of preparations. Okay? You have to look for the venue, you have to look for the cars, you have to do ABCD. There are a lot of things that you need to do. Okay, you have to prepare maybe the whole 6 months or the whole 3 months just for one day. Okay, so you tend to spend usually in the process. I think even on the actual day, some of the people will be happy, some of them won't be happy. They will even go and gossip about you and say, no, the food wasn't nice, the rice wasn't enough. I think those are some of the disadvantages that you can find. Okay, so what are the things that are needed in preparation for the marriage? I think first and foremost, the most important thing that is needed is to prepare for marriage and not for the wedding. Okay? First, you have to prepare for marriage, of which this consists of spiritual preparation. Okay? You have to be prepared spiritually. You have to go through spiritual counseling, you have to go through traditional counseling. I think those are the most important things before we talk of wedding preparations, like preparing for the venue, preparing for the food and everything. I think one of the most important things that needs to be done is to prepare for marriage, because what will happen on that particular day, people will come together, they will eat, they will dance, they will celebrate. Each one of them will scatter, they will go back to their homes. You remain the two of you. I think the most important preparation to do is to prepare for marriage itself, okay? Especially spiritually. Thank you.
There we have it. That was Peter Nkandu giving his view in terms of marriage preparations. Evangelist, I think you can pick it up from there, and then after you're done, we'll jump in with questions and allow our guests to also join the conversation. Over to you, Evangelist.
Thank you so much, CJ. Thank you so much, Lance and Emmanuel, and everyone that is connected to this important program. Today, we are looking at one of the greatest activity of the marriage. We started with dating. From dating, we moved to courtship. From courtship, last week, we were looking at engagement. And from engagement, today we are looking at wedding preparation. Wedding preparation and the wedding itself. Now, I would like you, my listeners, to listen very, very carefully, because I'm going to talk about one of the things that is a headache in the life of the bride and the groom, and this is the wedding. The wedding. The wedding. Now, the wedding is not a marriage. the wedding is not a marriage. The wedding is an announcement in which two people will announce to the public that they are now husband and wife, and therefore they've entered into this relationship voluntarily, meaning that they've not been coerced, they've not been forced. On their own volition, they've decided to get married. And so they call for this big gathering, or for a gathering called the wedding. Now, after they've been pronounced the husband and wife at a wedding, that's when they'll be called the husband. I mean, that is when they get married. Because the wedding is just a ceremony. Now, the pronunciation of the two being husband and wife, that is now the marriage. Now, for you to decide to have a wedding, you both must agree that you are going to have a wedding, and this wedding will take place on such a day. So I'll go through the things that you need to put in place for the wedding to take place. Now, I want you to understand that you can still marry even without a wedding, and you can marry with a wedding, having a wedding. Now, here we're talking about two kinds of marriages. There's what is called the customary marriage or traditional marriage. When you go into customary marriage or traditional marriage, some of these things that I'm going to mention here will not be found in a traditional or customary marriage. I'm talking about the Marriage Act, the 50 of the laws of Zambia. So some of these things they will not be found. Now, let me start with the white wedding or the Western wedding, which is whereby they put on, that mosquito net, and then they put on either black suit, whatever it is, and they line up. So that is what I'm going to talk about now. Then I'll move to a traditional wedding. Dear friends, if you want to have a wedding, first of all, you must set a budget. You must have a budget. What is this budget? This is a plan of how you are going to spend on that day, or leading to that day. Because you are not going to spend this money on that day, but you will spend that money from that time up to the time when the wedding will take place. So you need what is called a wedding. I want to warn you and warn myself. A lot of young people, they want to beat the previous wedding which they saw. They want their wedding to outshine all other weddings they've seen in their lives. And so they begin to aim very high. And they set a very high budget. And in this budget, you find that in most cases, they themselves do not even have money. They depend on relatives and friends. And then they set a very high budget. And because of this, you find that they cannot sleep because they have to meet this budget. Sometimes they have to go to the bank, go and get a loan in order to have this budget made. Sometimes they go Ukaloba, Runda, so that they can meet this budget. Sometimes they will sell their house, their property, in order to raise money for the wedding. which is not necessary. It is not necessary, because you are going to start your marriage with a date. You will start your marriage with Nkongore. That is why you find that some people, they are seated kuja ku high table. Ankara Mamuna na Musikana. This young man who that is absent-minded, because he knows that he borrowed too much, and so after this marriage, after this wedding, he has got to pay back, the money that he got from various people. So he will not enjoy his wedding because of the debt, because of pressure. So I want to warn you, if you start your marriage with a big debt of this nature, then you know that for a long time you will not come out of that debt. And it will be haunting you, and it will affect your relationship with your wife. It will affect your total life. So stay away from this kind of wedding. Cut your coat according to your size. If you can't get money to support your wedding, go the traditional way or customary way. It is still blessed by God. It is still a marriage, and children will be born in that home. So it is not the white mosquito net, or what you call the wedding dress, or the black suit that will actually pregnant the lady or give you a baby. No. These are just attires or things that help us meet our desires. So after you've done that budget, you must now set a goal. What do you want? You want to get married. So you set a date. A date, a month, and a year. On such a day, you want to get married. What next are you going to do? You are going to choose a place. A place. Where will this wedding take place? There are two things here. Is it going to go to church? And then also the venue for the celebration. Now, all this costs money. So that is why you need a budget. Then from there, you need also to get a quotation for the venue. Get a quotation for the venue. So you must know what they provide at that venue. Are they going to give you chairs? Are they going to give you tables? Are they going to give you forks, spoons, and knives? What else are they going to provide you with? What about food? Is it going to be cooked from there or prepared from there? So you need to get a quotation. After you've done that, you need also to know when will this start. Is it going to be in the morning? Is it going to be at night? If it is at night, why? If it is during the day, why? Then from there also ensure that you find an officiating minister, a pastor, a bishop, a priest to officiate your wedding. Make sure that you have planned for the cake, a cake. And then from there you must know what is the price of this cake. Who is going to prepare it? Make sure that the cake does not cause diarrhea when people eat it. People should not be sick because of your wedding. They ate wrong cake and then they got diarrhea or they get sick. That should not happen. The other one is dress. You must know that your wife to be will need a dress. And that dress must be bought by the man. It will not be bought by the father or anybody. It is you, the man, who should buy it. Well, you may not go to the shop to buy it, but you can provide the funds or money so that, the lady chooses her own dress. She can go and choose with his brother, with his sisters, with his mother, with other people, but he provides money for the dress. And also get a suit, a good suit for yourself. Please do not borrow a suit. Buy a suit which you are going to keep as a memorial. You need to have a new suit. When you buy a new suit, you buy a jacket, a trousers, maybe even a waistcoat, or if there's no waistcoat, you just have a trousers, a jacket. You need a good shirt, a new tie or bow tie. You need a new pant. Don't go there with a pant, your book of Matako. That is your great day. You need to have a new pant, new socks, new shoes. New person. Not a matter of reality. No. So look smart on that day. It is your day. Then from there, make sure that you've got a lineup. A lineup that is of ladies. Who are the ladies who will be there? You must know them, identify them. Are they relatives? Are they going to buy their own attire? Or they'll be looking to you for you to provide attire for them. So make sure that you look for people who can help you provide their own attire and spend money on their own. You should also find a nice boy or nice girl. Find a matron, a good matron who can advise, a matron who can be respected, not a matron of your old age, of the same age, your age mate or age mate, your wife to be. No, you need an elder people, not an elder person who should be able to guide on what is happening. Then from there, you should also pay for decorations. The place must be well decorated. It must be inviting. It must be interesting. Find a good MC. This is a marriage, this is a person that is going to entertain the people. Others, they call them directors, marriage directors, but he is a master of the ceremony. So the issue is that you need to find a person who is not going to embarrass you. Some people, they will end up, trying to bring jokes. They will start insulting, either the guest of honor or maybe the people that are there, or actually embarrassing you. So find a good MC who is respected by society. Then also know the type of music you are going to play there, which will be played there. The music that will be played there must be your choice. Or else when they so by at a wrong time in a wrong way. Unless it is authorized by yourself. So do that. Then from there, also make sure that you've got a guest of honor, a person that is respected. Get a good guest of honor, probably a guest of honor somebody who knows you, who is going to talk about you and tell the people about yourself. Sometimes you can have also, singers, somebody who is going to sing, or a group of people who are going to sing at your wedding. So, or maybe a band that's going to play. It's you to this.
CJ, we seem to have lost Evangelist. CJ, I can't hear you.
I'm not getting him either.
All right. This is a program that comes your way
Lance,
every
can you get
Thursday.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, okay. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. So to you, our viewers, remember that this is Nsaka. It's a program that comes your way every Thursday from mostly 2030 all the way up to when we exhaust a topic that we are discussing. And remember that this evening we are dealing with part 4 of the marriage formula, or episode 4 of the marriage formula, as we started from episode 1. And today we are dealing with preparations, talking about statutory marriage and weddings. Remember, you can be part of this program by simply clicking on the link that we have shared with you. Click on it, join us into the studio. You can put through your experience, you can put through your comment, or as well as ask a question or express a view. This program is open to each and every one of you that is following us from whichever platform that you are watching us, either Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. Our guest this evening is, of course, none other than Evangelist Shaabula, who is always keen to come through and discuss different matters or different things that pertain to marriages. But for now, let's quickly get to go on a very short break, and then when we come back, we make sure that our guest is back into the studio and we get to admit you into the studio as we make this platform open for all and for everyone. Let's go on a short break. All right. It seems my director is also having some challenges with internet. But remember that we would love you to be part of the program. We would love you to be part of the discussion that we are discussing today. Marriage Formula, episode 4, dealing with preparations in terms of a statutory marriage and wedding. So remember, this is marriage that we're talking about, and we know marriage involves an issue of a wedding, which is a celebration or a ceremony. How do you prepare for it? What do you prepare? What is needed? And how do you go about it? Of course, Evangelist Shaabula, as he was explaining and trying to advise, he listed a number of things that which you need to get into place or to get in place. Talking about first thing is a budget. You need to sit down as a couple and look at a budget. How much are you budgeting for this wedding? CJ, good to have you back. Hopefully our guest is back too.
I'm ready.
So, Evangelist, are you able to? Great, thank you.
Yeah. So I can keep.
Wow, connectivity issues.
Please prepare cards and send cards to the people. You need also to prepare transport. You must have enough transport for your bride
okay, there's
and the groom yourself. You need to have this. There must be transport for the matron, the girls, the boys, that's the lineup, the MC. You need to do this. Then from there, remember, there will be gifts there. Somebody should be in charge of gifts. We don't want to be seen to be disorganized. Somebody should sit there to receive gifts. If you are going to use a box to receive, whatever it is, let somebody prepare. Then there will also be photos. There will be a photo session. The cameraman should be ready, and he must know where they are going to take these photos and how many, if possible. Then there is also a book where your guests are going to sign. It will be running, it will be going around so that people can make comments about your wedding, about yourself. So you need that. That is a book and a pen. Then at the same time, you have to know that you need food and what food. What type of food? Are you going to have macaroni, spaghetti, Himba, rice, potatoes, and all others? Is that what you want? So you must have that. Then prepare also drinks. Will there be Fanta? Will there be Coca-Cola? Will there be Sprite or any other drink that you want to give to your people? So these, they must be enough. Please, if you know that you do not have enough money, don't go this way. If you are going to go this way, make sure that people have got enough to eat. And then, after you've done this, you should also be able to know where you will go after the wedding. Are you going to spend the night at a hotel, or the lodge, or your house, or where are you going to be? So this is very, very important. The other issue that you must understand is that you need people that are going to speak, people that are going to speak at your wedding. You know, your relatives, the two sides. You know, in addition to the guests of honor, you must look for people that can speak and be able to add value to the wedding. Not people who can speak properly, people who are going to embarrass you. You don't do that. Get someone who can do a good job. And after you've done this, after all is done, now you can say, let's go and have a wedding. Now, this now means that you are working together. And as you work together, you also share responsibilities. You, the lady, you are going to do this part. The gentleman will do that part. And some of them, we are going to join hands to do this together. But from time to time, you need to have a review of what you are doing. Now, very important, CJ, Lancy, Emmanuel, and everyone. Normally, we want to prepare for the wedding a lot more than preparing for the marriage. What am I talking about? We spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of money, we spend a lot of resources preparing for an event that is going to take just for 3 hours in that particular day. But the preparation sometimes will take 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. You are putting resources together. And all this is going to be spent in the 3 hours on that particular day. But even when this is done, you find that people are not properly prepared in terms of teaching them how they are going to live in that marriage, how they are going to conduct themselves as a husband and wife, how they will handle each other, how they will handle finances, how they will handle their anger, how they are going to handle in-laws, how they are going to, handle, this and that. That, you find that in most cases, they do not pay attention to that. But they pay attention to the wedding dress and the wedding suit and the shoes and the hair. Just after the wedding, problems begin because they were not taught how to live together in a half marriage as husband and wife. So I'm urging you who are planning to get married to be more concerned about someone teaching you how you are going to live in that home, in that marriage, for up to the time when God will allow you to take rest. So that is what is supposed to be in this life. It is not all about the wedding. It is all about the marriage. As I told you, the marriage is what you get into after being pronounced husband and wife. After that has been pronounced, then you are now married. And that is the first step of your life in a new life. So the issue here is that let's be able to put our money where it matters. If you know this is too much for you, don't go for an expensive marriage. Go for a traditional marriage. What is a traditional marriage? A traditional marriage is a marriage where most of these things that I've said will not be there. But according to the laws of Zambia, it is a recognized marriage. You also get a marriage certificate from the local court. Even after you're married, you can go there and get a certificate Now, in this one, in the traditional marriage, it's difficult for me to tell you exactly how it is because each tribe in Zambia has got their own custom, the way in which marriages are celebrated or marriages are conducted. So I'll just take a few of them which have got a common denominator, or which is a common denominator. Normally what you do, when you want to get married, you have informed the people, your parents, your relatives, they are aware about it. Now then you decide to go at Kapere to Tumbale. We first saw this already when we were doing courtship. We did dating, courtship and engagement. Then that already customary marriage hapo yayamba kudala. Mapinga tumbale, maikachundala mapaja, batengandala mapaja. Then from there we begin kuyamba kutamba how much ubola money or dowry. Ngati whatever ngombe 10. Ngati makwacha letani 10,000 kwacha. So 10,000 kwacha letani ikasigameti nayo maybe 3,000 kwacha. You pay iye mzamba kulipia pamoja. Ikafika then from there after done that time. Ba masiandama kuja walipia kuja. Manje kutaka kufika je emeweka machikukwela. Kutenga mkazi manje. Kuja izaka yako mazuri. Wakuru they organize themselves, but all the time kukarauka celebration. Nkuku yako tunkuku, then zako nsimba na tumaraisi na jiwantu omusoya. So kumazuru bazamba kusura sobera bantu hapa. Kumazuru kuja kuma 19 kuma 20 hours, especially kuma 21 hours. Bakatia kusura soya paja. That mukazi bazamutenga bamwika mu kitenge na kuyamba kumuleta ku nyumba. Bayimba na kuyimba imwe. Batwalira bere bakayona ulire. Bapereka kuja yo tafiye kuja kawono ngeweka. Ati kupeleke. Bayamba kuleta. Ngati ni kutunga bakamba zilazimina yika darama hapa. Daika. You are supposed to put some money either 5 kwacha or 10 kwacha. That is just a game. They are not charging you. It's part of it's part of celebration. So you just put Sundama to Mono, then they will start leading you until they get home. Bafika munyumba, bazamuleta munyumba pa bedi pako. Bakafika poja kaongena pa dopaja, you are expected kuika po ndalama, waika po ka 10 kwacha au ka 20 kwacha bangela. Then wakafika paja, kutua muike pa bedi, bazaka amaleta ndalama, waika po maybe 50 kwacha, pamela kala pa bedi. Then pajamba kusubira these are your cousins, you know, your cousins na bambuye na bena. So that is what they do. Then from there, even for Gona, before you get upset, bakamba tikako whatever it is. Bano kamba karibu kwamba kudia uchibwani. Waikapo kaande kwachi. Then from there waitakuwa wakwatira. Manje ntao yako manje Mungu uzipai weka. She's ready for you. Ononga manje tuone ndakuwa nini. So that is the traditional marriage. Jasira na kufira hapo mkupiga the following day wena kuita kwa kandrama au kuzipira pachani pa moto paja apike pale amafu pale waikako ka 50 kwacha mba amba kutenga chani ati kudankana na nkuko ya zapika early in the morning ameni kusendi wapika sima kazi wapika after you've given an drama waika na yepaji. And then from there apika wakati kupika everyone wameacha escort baada ya pamoja wakati kuja then baada kwa sia bakusia weka uzio nunga weka but that's the marriage, the traditional marriage and the white marriage. I end my presentation. Questions and comments.
Thank you very much, Evangelist, for that elaborate explanation. Viewers, you're very much welcome. Please, we'll be sharing the link in the comments very soon. Please, director, do that. And then I can see we have Ida Mwansa, who's been in the background for a long time. Lance, I propose we allow her to go on with the first question before we come in. What do you think?
Definitely. Let's have her. This is their program.
Ida Mwansa, you're welcome to Ubuntu channel. Good evening. Oh, unfortunately, they've gone. Lance, over
Very
to you.
unfortunate. Thank you so much, CJ. Just an emphasis to our viewers before I get to ask a question to Evangelist. Our viewers, remember that this program is meant for you. So therefore, leave us a comment. If you are unable to join us into the studio, leave us a comment. We'll be glad to read your comment. We'll be glad to know that you are following the program. Or better still, join us into the studio as the link has been shared with you down there in the comments section. Evangelist, something of interest which you've mentioned, and I think I would like you to spend time on this one. You said many people take more time preparing for the marriage ceremony and not the marriage itself. When does one start to prepare, or when is the right time for this couple to start preparing for the marriage, the actual marriage, and not that ceremony which is celebrated in a short space of time?
When you know that you are going to get married and you've set a date, both of you, which you have agreed upon, that your marriage will be on 25th December 2023. After having known that your wedding will be on 25th December, then it is important for you to find counselors, marriage counselors, who should be able to take you through, to teach you how to manage each other, how to handle the institution of marriage, the do's and the don'ts, and the things that build a marriage. Respect for each other, how to handle in-laws, how to respect your husband, how to respect your wife, what to do when there's a problem, how do you handle problems. In other words, the conflict resolution, you'll be taught how to handle that. Because other people who are not taught, mukazi akaifya, amutukwana kutukwana batate ba mukazi ubatukwana obamayi bake mukazi. That is an indication that you are not taught, because it is an insult. It is serious for anybody to insult Makoro. You don't do that. But if you are not taught, you can do anything and say anything. You know, marriages end because of finances. Sometimes the mukazi does not know how to handle money. You know, she has just gotten married. She was not handling things like 5,000 kwacha per month. She never held any money of that nature. She was used 100 kwacha or 50 kwacha. Now that she's married to you, CJ, and then in the end now you are giving her 5,000 kwacha, she would think that she's a millionaire. She will start misusing money because she does not know how to handle it and or managing it. So all these are things that people should be taught even before the wedding day comes. So that come that day, they've gone through a lot. They've learned a lot of things in marriage. That is the right way of getting married. Because even when they're going to have that wedding on that day, it will just be, they'll be celebrating, transiting into the marriage, into their home, when they have already gained knowledge of this and that. It's very, very important. So for the marriage is more important than preparation for the wedding. But both are important. Thank you.
Thank you, Evangelist. I'm sure next week we'll delve deeper into some of the traditional things, because I would say it's like activities that go on in terms of tradition are more compared to when we look at the statutory marriage. We have things for the ladies like ukufundwa, ukuchesha, and all those things. But for now, I want to come back to like a church wedding. Usually, the church will have certain requirements. For example, there are things like 6 months counseling, and then they want you to have an HIV test and things like a pregnancy test. What is your view on such things and the value, if at all, such things have value?
Yes. I think, that one is actually the right way to go. First of all, it is important for you to enter into a safe marriage. Because if your colleague is sick, she is a patient. Not only HIV, but whatever sickness, because you need to disclose your problem to your friends, so that your friend can decide to go ahead with you or not to go ahead with you. Or if he or she decides to go ahead with you, then what protection is he or she going to employ to make sure that she is protected or is protected? So it is important that one to do an HIV test to ensure that both of you are safe. If you are not safe, you can still get married, but with some protection. The other thing is, you do that pregnancy test to make sure that actually, you are not entering a wedding dress or putting on a wedding dress when you are already a mother. You are already a grandmother. You have already a child in your womb, because that's a mockery. Because the purpose why they put on the white wedding as they get married, it is actually a testimony that the person that is entering this marriage is pure. We are talking about purity. Is pure. Is not defiled. She has not slept with anybody. She has not been touched by anybody. And the gentleman has also slept with the end lady. So actually, that's a message that you are giving to the world. Now, if you go, like a lot of weddings that I've seen, you find somebody is pregnant and they've got a white wedding. That is a mockery. They are defeating the purpose of the wedding. So that is one thing that we need to do. That's why it is safe. It is important that you do that the right thing. The notice is for the people to be aware that you are getting married. And anybody that is supposed to work with you or help you should be able to prepare. You are also preparing the minds of the people and also yourself that this is what it is. You are announcing to the world that you are not alone now, that you have got a life that you decide to, so that you live as husband and wife. So it is important. It is good. Only those that want to take shortcuts because they do not want procedures, they do not want to do the correct thing. Those are the ones that will complain and find this as something that is not right. They would think that it is actually prohibiting them from getting married, and yet it is protecting their marriage.
Thank you so much, Evangelist. We really appreciate. Now, let's also take to recognize the presence of Ida. Ida, good to have you back. Good evening. Okay.
Good evening.
Good to have you. Please go.
How are you?
Yes.
All right. Please go ahead with your contribution, comment, or question.
Okay. I have a question. There are some churches that say that when a lady is pregnant or has had a child before, when they are doing church service, the veil is not supposed to be in front, but instead it's supposed to be at the back. So is it right to do a white wedding in that way?
It is seriously wrong. I didn't say it is wrong, I said it is seriously wrong. White represents purity. Purity means this person has not been touched by any man. That is what you are announcing to the world, before your parents. You are telling them, I've never been touched by any man. I am pure. So they should not, the veil does not change your status. The veil will not change. You will not be ungonized. You will not be ungonized. So that does not change. It is not right to do that. It does not change. So the issue that ulina mwana or you are pregnant, two things. Ulina mwana or you are pregnant. Do not put on evil vama wedding, vama white, whatever it is. But tradition, it is also blessed. God will still bless you. It's not that when you put on a white gown, then a white dress, then wedding, blessed. No, it is not the attire that is blessed. It is the individual, the human being. Because of the way you conducted yourself, it is you who will be blessed. So let us run away from pregnancies and all these things that we are doing. In the hope that already that is confusion. Before you even go munyumba mamuna, confusion through kavalidwe. Why should the veil be changed? So let's do things the right way.
Okay. Before you come in, CJ, Ida, are you satisfied or you have a follow-up question? Are you okay?
I'm okay with the answer. At least for the first time, I've gotten something convincing.
Okay.
Thank you, Ida.
We thank you.
You know what I'm saying here, CJ? It is not easy. Even me as a young man, when I got married, it was not easy. All sorts of things. It's not easy. I understand you, my sons and my daughters, I understand you. It's not easy. My temptations are cool, but God expects us to be strong. Parents expect us to be strong. But let's try by all means to run away from such things. But it's not easy. But with God, it is easy. We can do it. Because, the other thing, CJ and Lance, the issue is that if you start with a weak foundation, because that is a weak foundation that Mayamba will Himba. But even Paraina Faja, you will not be free. Your conscience will not be free. Mayamba have problems already. mumunama bantu ati you are pure but ina mimba uchitako na wedding paja palaina hapo pali mwana wako. Those are problems. Olumundera mu nyumba chabe the first day you kwatira na ma problems ayamba. You start fighting, you start quarreling. You ofuna to mwamuna afuna agwe naiwe kamwana kayamba kamba kalira. Mwe mwamuna huku ebe yauka. Afuna iwe mwana alira utaisha bwana. Ulete mwana pali iwe na mwamuna mani ikamuzaisha bwanji katika bwanji no problem there.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. I can see Abom Kedewai had logged in, but he has dropped off. I was very happy to see him because I'd heard he hasn't been well. Actually, he had even been admitted in hospital. I hope he has recovered. Yeah, I hope he can log in again. We'll be very glad to have him. Yeah. So, Evangelist, these days, with the weddings and I would say receptions, we've seen a lot of spicing up of things. We even have an arrangement where people are busy dashing out money, that kind of a thing. But from the origin or the concept of the wedding, what is the main purpose? What was the initial purpose? The people who came up with the wedding.
First of all, as I told you, I explained that there are two things that are locked in that one. There is the wedding ceremony, and then there's the marriage ceremony. The wedding ceremony is the activity ijameni musobera ya utati baone bantu atwaisha bwanji. You are announcing to the people I'm no longer a spinster. I'm no longer a bachelor. But I'm married to Mutinja na kwatira Mutinja. This is my friend. This is my wife. This is my husband. I'm no longer a spinster. I'm no longer a bachelor. Uja, you go to announce to them. And then from there you are saying, now come and celebrate with me. I have found a friend. I've found a mother. I've found a companion. You know, so you are actually celebrating with other people. That's what is there. So the issue is that it is just to announce to everyone that you are no longer a bachelor or a spinster. Now, after you've shown the people that you are now married, you've got a partner. That's when the marriage now begins. Of you, how you are going to take care of your wife, how you are going to take care of your husband. That is a new life that comes, that sets in for you to live with that lady who you have called wife, the gentleman you have called husband. How are you going to handle him? How are you going to live with him? Wamuchosa kuli batate bake na ambai bake abuya munyumba mwako azaka adia chani azaka vala chani azaka zoya mafuta ya bwanji azaka kugona pa bedi ya bwanji azaka adia bakudya ba bwanji azaka manzi ya bwanji azaka kugona munyumba ya bwanji odwala uzaka muona uzaka kumuona umpele kuma hospital ko tuzamba kumutandiza ibichazo leo zamba kuchita iwe uyu this new person, what are you going to do? Vice versa, naye mkazi wazi uyu munyamaji achokuli batati baki na amai baki. I'm now the mother. How am I going to take care of this person? That is now the marriage ceremony. Now a marriage ceremony, now you are actually announcing that this is now my mother, this is my father. That's what it is.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. Obum Kedewai, I'm glad to see that you've logged in. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. I hope there's been some extremely speedy recovery. How are you?
Good evening. How are you, everyone? Thank you. I'm back. Today, I'm going to be a spectator.
Wow.
Yes. Otherwise, nice program, and just continue. You are on the right trajectory, and we are blessed to have Shaabula to teach us about record. That's what I can say for now.
You are supposed to tell me when you are sick, you should inform me. Please get my number and call me. We need to talk.
No problem. You know, if getting sick is give some warning, like, oh, tomorrow you'll be sick. We'll be giving to my notification. That's a bit of my notification that next week you need to.
You did permission from me. Who was praying for you? Who should pray for you?
Yeah. No.
Because you didn't inform. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Darumaka Patrick, I'm out of danger. I'm back to myself. I have the spirit for my
Thank you very much, Rum Kirebai. Just hearing your voice makes me feel happy because I know you're definitely out of danger, and we pray that your healing will be sealed and you'll be back to the perfect and vocal Mkerebai that we know. Lance, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, CJ. Our dear viewers, remember that the link has been shared with you. Join us into the studio. Let's have a better time sharing our experiences on how you prepared for the marriage. Remember that today we are discussing episode 4 of the marriage formula, of which today we are dealing with preparation for a statutory marriage as well as a white wedding. All right, this is what we are discussing this evening. Shortly, we'll be seeing your messages, or we'll be reading your messages. Please continue sharing the link. Continue also writing your messages, as we'll be glad to read from them. Evangelist, my main interest is not the white wedding or this wedding thingy. My main interest is actually preparation to the marriage, the actual marriage, the living together of two people coming from different backgrounds. So you mentioned to say that preparation starts when you make that intention to say our wedding day has been set, or our wedding date has been set on this particular day, month, and year. Now, who is responsible? Who takes up the responsibility of teaching these two people, or of preparing these two people for a life ahead, leaving the two of them, and how to sort out conflicts in the house? Who teaches these two people?
Thank you, Lance. The answer is that the parents, it's the responsibility of the parents to ensure that their son and also the daughter are guided on how they should handle each other in the marriage. They should know the do's and the don'ts in marriage. They must know how to handle conflicts in the marriage. They must know how to handle in-laws in the marriage. They must know how to respect a husband or wife in the marriage. They must know how to handle finances or how to manage finances in a marriage. These two, they've got to make sure that they must teach them how to live with the neighbors or how to live in the community. They must teach them. They must also teach them the tradition and the culture in which they are living in, so that those people are not blamed for anything. So the person that should teach them is the parents. But the parents themselves going by culture, it's not them that are going to directly teach them. They will find the counselors within the village, within the town or township. The people that they trust, that these people, they've got good homes. That is, organize the homes, discipline the homes, and obedient children. Their marriages have stood the test of time. So those are the people that are going to ask, to be marriage counselors, or so that they can guide their children. So it's the responsibility of the parents or the relatives to find people that should be able to help these two. Thank you. I'm done. Hello?
Wow. Yes, we can get you. Thank you. Thank you, Evangelist. So, okay. So my other concern comes on the weddings that we are having nowadays. Okay, so I would say we have a hybrid where things are combined. Situations where certain weddings, especially the receptions, okay, are cash based. If a person doesn't have cash, okay, they are not allowed to enter the celebration. What is your take on those ones?
At the present, in cash only.
Those are not marriages.
Cash only.
Those are not marriages. That is not a marriage. That is a fundraising. It is a venture. It is not a marriage. Because a marriage, it's, people are invited to go there to celebrate with the other person. It is up to them to decide to take gifts or not to take gifts. They are not obliged to be there, because they can choose to stay away, all of them. And then all the food that you have prepared and everything that you've prepared, you will eat it, the two of you, because they're not there. So it is not right to charge anybody. It should be voluntarily done. A person should decide that I'm going to take this gift to this gentleman or to this lady or Miss and Mrs. I'll give them this. You should not charge them. Why should you charge them? Because you've gotten married. After are you going to invite them? What's happening? No. That's not right. Not right. Not right. For me, I can't even go there and attend such a wedding. I can't attend such a wedding. It is up to me to decide what I should take for them, because that gentleman is my friend. So, but not that I should be charged because he's getting married. No, that is safety by agent.
Yeah, thank you very much, Evangelist. Lance, maybe you can take us through the comments.
All right. So here's the thing. Maybe before we even go to the comments, I have a question. Like I said, my interest is on the preparation. So now, Evangelist, is there a certain time frame that should be set for these two couples to prepare for the marriage, the induction, this process, induction into marriage? Is there a certain time frame? Is it specified, or it can go as long as it can?
There's no specified, time for anybody, to be cancelled. Counseling goes on and on. Even for me, this time, even when I'm married up to now, I've been married for a long time. Up to now, I'm still being cancelled. They tell me, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. Because that is the way of life. Because wisdom does not reside in one head. It comes from so many heads. And so there's no period in which you can be given, for you to be instructed, to be guided. Guidance, they'll just prepare maybe lessons. For example, like in my case, I prepare about 12 lessons which are very key, which covers a lot of things that we do in life. 12 of them. So after I do these 12, then I tell them, then I also test them and see if they've understood those lessons. Then that's when I can say that they are now ready for marriage. But that does not mean that they cannot get any more advice. No, that's not it. That's not it. Because we every day is a learning curve. Every day is a learning curve. So the issue here is that there is no end to learning. But the teacher or the counselor can prepare lessons to teach those people. When those lessons are done, then you can certify them to say now they are certified. They can get married. But that does not mean that they cannot learn other lessons or other things from another person. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Evangelist. And our dear viewers, we are so glad that you are following the program keenly. We appreciate you being a part of the program by watching, sharing, liking, and commenting underneath this broadcast. Right now, let's get to take you through the comments that have come in, or the messages that have come in, as we would love to recognize each and everybody of you. Rafik, good evening to you too. Thank you. Good to know that you are watching the program. Let's get to go to another one. Caroline, good evening, watching from Foxdale. Caroline, thank you so much. We really appreciate your viewership. Choki Lewis says, good evening, great program. Choki, thank you so much. We also value your contribution. And Harriet says, good evening, great program. Hope a lot of would-be brides and grooms are taking notes. Well, hopefully Emma is taking notes. Thank you so much for your comment, Harriet. Okay. So that is among the few comments that have come through. We do really appreciate you, and of course do appreciate everybody who is watching. Now, Evangelist, let me quickly come to not a statutory marriage, but let's come to tradition. Traditional marriage, of course, in preparation kumankalatia ivongenesa munyumba bachimbusa obashishanshani. That kind of thing. When is this preparation done? When do they take the woman in for kupunzisiwa na mwamuna in a traditional marriage? Is it after wapereka ijamu mbale, or it's before? And how cardinal are the lessons there?
To answer that question, Lance, I would say that it's a bit difficult for me to answer this one because of various traditions. Because if I answer this one, I might be answering, maybe the Tonga way. But you find that the Easterners don't do what I've said, or maybe the Northerners, they don't do, that. Or maybe the other people don't do that. So unless if I specify to say, in the Eastern Province, they do this. Now, the question for me, what I can say is that, you know, the question is preparation. When do they begin these preparations? Immediately something has been paid. A commitment fee has been paid. An indication that there is now a relationship which is leading to a marriage. The lessons should begin. They should begin because these two have indicated to you as parents that they are ready for marriage. So you should start so that, you know, you cover a number of topics that they need to know. So that's how it is. So it depends on the family that has paid. Immediately the payment is done. Whatever payment has been done, which leads to marriage, then you begin.
All right. Very insightful. I don't know, CJ, you have a question, or I can continue?
You can continue, Lance, though we are now entering the dying minutes of the program. Please go ahead.
Just one question. Now, in your submission, Evangelist, on preparation for this marriage event, the ceremony, the celebration which you are announcing to the people, you mentioned of how important it is to have a budget. And when does, you know, this couple put up a budget? Is it after when they have taken a straw to check maybe how much their preferred venue would cost, culturally, food, catering and everything? That's when they come and sit down to make a budget? Or you make a budget and then fit everything into a budget that you have made? Which one comes first?
You know, CJ, I just want you to, is it CJ or Lance? Yeah. What it is that we must understand that, you know, there are things that are going to be done by the two people, the bride to be and the groom to be. They've got their own things that they are going to be working on behind the curtains, behind the eyes of the parents. They don't know what is happening, but them, they are always 10 steps ahead of the parents because it is their game. You know, since it's their game, they need to be, you know, they need to be ahead of the parents. Sometimes you find that already they've set up a budget, they've found already a venue for the wedding. Also, they know to go to church. They know the pastor that's going to conduct it. They know they've got probably a lineup already, the wedding dress, the cake. Sometimes all these things you find that they've done them. And even when they come to the parents, they will come like very innocent people who may not, they will not show that there's something that they know or they've done. And then the parents will just fall in place. And some of them you find that some of the things that are required to be done, they've done them already. Sometimes you find that they've already bought, you know, attire, the dress for the lady, the suit for the gentleman. Maybe they are in their wardrobe already. So in other words, what I'm saying is that, you know, there are things that you know, the two should be able to work together. And after they work, they found answers to those things, then they can bring them to the parents. You know, if we want to get married, we want a white wedding. Even when they say we want a white wedding, some of the things sometimes they're already there. You know, such as the attire might be there. They've already identified somebody who's going to prepare another wedding, the cake, and the many other things. So, in other words, it should be as soon as possible. Because, you know, wedding preparation is very hectic. And sometimes, if you are not careful, you may omit certain things. You find that there's no wedding cake. There is a no cake. Cake equity, oh, neighbor, then no, let's say Shiba Chapi, bring Shiba. Then they're going to bring Shiba there and start selling Shiba. Because you forgot. So you need to work together as the bride and groom, so that you are able to help your parents, and then the parents can take it from there. Thank you.
Yes, actually, evangelist. Wamapanga na makomiti these days kulima komiti. Uzapeza familia mkazi yapanga, familia mwamuna, that kind of a thing, even in my friends. So those committees Yamat and Nsaka with the budgeting as well as the other activities that that go with the wedding. So right now time is not with us. We can take closing remarks. Lance, I'll start with you before Evangelist gives us his.
Well, it's been a great show. It's been a great program, and so much to learn. We only urge our viewers that every Thursday, make a date with us from 2030 as we bring to you Nsaka and discuss different matters that border on human or social living. So ngati ufuna kwatira chikwati, ufuna advice and everything, join us at 2030 every Thursday, and you will find us right here with Evangelist Shaabula, trying by all means to do what we do best on a Thursday. Thank you so much.
Evangelist.
In concluding, dear friends, it is not only the white wedding which is blessed. It is not only putting on the white gown or the white dress that will make your marriage blessed. No, not at all. Even the customary marriage, God blesses it. As long as the parents are included, they've agreed. And the church and also the government. That is, when I say government, it means you are going to get a marriage certificate. You need to go and have a marriage certificate. Maybe the church also, they pray for you. The parents, they give you away with their blessing. You can get married even without a wedding. Sometimes the wedding can be too expensive, and you spend a lot of money, unnecessary, expenditure, which you don't need. Sometimes the money that you don't have, you go borrowing. Then after 2 days, berets come. They come and get even the wedding dress, and also all the gifts that are there, they are also taken by berets because you failed to pay a debt. In English, they say, cut the cord according to your size. It means live within your income. Do not do things that you cannot do. So it is important, dear friends, to prepare. If you go for the white wedding, you must be able to prepare, plan for it, and then be able to provide what is expected by everyone. So work together and share responsibilities. And in the end, you both win. God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll meet you next week again.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. Viewers, we are very grateful that you managed to be part of tonight's broadcast. Thank you, Ida. Thank you, Wom Kelevai. We thank you we thank the people that made comments, and we just want to encourage you to make sure that you make a date. Next week we are still continuing on the marriage formula, and next week I think we'll mostly focus on the traditional aspects of the marriage preparation. So be on the lookout for things like the Chirangamuri laws, all those traditional events and things that happen before the wedding, so that we can learn together, invite someone, and make sure to follow all our social media platforms Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. From me, Lance, and Evangelist, we say thank you very much and have a blessed evening. See you next week.